Hello. I am not feeling at my best today. But you know what? Even on our bad days, we can make it better. And I'm going to make mine better by reading a story. And I know it's been what I've been doing, but it always does make me feel better. And I hope listening to them, at least at some points, make you feel better. So, Brandon's Dream. And we're going to get part 1. Brandon stood in the car lot in front of a 2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. His 16th birthday came and gone, and he wanted was the car in front of him. A salesman walked up to the young man. "Hello, my name is Thomas. May I help you, sir?" Brandon looked at him a little sideways. Nobody ever called him sir before. "I'm not a sir." "I apologize. May I help you?" The short, plump, balding salesman's smile wrapped like artificial Halloween lips across his face. "I can't buy this car, but may I sit in it?" Brandon asked. "Okay, but don't mess with the controls, please." Now, to Brandon's ears, that please sounded more like a request rather than an order. So he did mess with the controls, and suddenly the car picked up off the ground about 6 inches and slammed back down. Brandon felt his insides jolt. "I ask you not to touch anything," this Thomas yelled with wide, frightened eyes. "Yeah, but that was so awesome. How did it happen?" "What the heck was so awesome?" "I told you not to touch anything," the salesman scolded. "I didn't think it would do anything since it's turned off." "It shouldn't have. They said they'd returned it to its original state. You're lucky it didn't fall on my foot or go higher and hurt you." The man's eyes grew large, and his face looked almost purple from holding his breath. When the man inhaled, he made a deep sucking noise while his lungs filled. "Stay here. I'll go talk to my boss. He'll want to talk to you." Brandon stood tapping his foot. He wanted to run away, but he also wanted them to tell him it wasn't his fault. After 2 minutes, he started to wander through the lot. He looked at another car. 15 minutes later, the salesman came toward him with a much rounder man of about the same height as the salesman. "Son, I'm sorry. You could have been hurt. The Hellcat was customized by a private garage. I guess they thought they could make a stunt car. The owner of that garage will get a piece of my mind." He sighed and put his arm around Brandon's shoulder. "I called the garage, and one of the employees answered." After Thomas here told me what had happened. The employee admitted that it had a lot of dangerous defects, and the client turned it down and refused to pay. That's why the boss put it on our lot. I think the employee of the shop will probably quit or lose his job for telling me the truth." Brandon pulled away. "What did they do to it?" The owner's eyes looked toward the ground as he shuffled his feet. They tried to make it a flight car. The owner of the garage didn't tell me anything. The employee did. What happened when they tried it? It went 20 feet up, didn't move forward, and it fell hard. The tires blew out and it flipped. The driver ended up in the hospital for a week with a concussion and broken bones. Wow. You shouldn't take custom cars. Brandon felt the heat of his face from the anger that grew in him. It could kill someone. I still don't understand why it did anything without the engine running. I don't either, and that's more of what I'll be talking to the owner of that garage about. Suddenly, Brandon woke up. Oh, his skin on his face, his chest, his back were wet. His hair clung to his head from sweating. The darkness made it so that he couldn't see his surroundings. After a minute, his mind cleared, and he fell on his bed under him. He and his father had discussed his desire for the Hellcat the evening before. It must have triggered the dream. Brandon pulled the bedspread over his head. The weather was warm, but he felt the need for cover because it made him feel safe. Brandon fell back to sleep at some point, but when he woke the next morning, he remembered the dream and how it felt so real. He dressed in his blue jeans and a black t-shirt before going down the stairs to breakfast. For some reason, his legs felt stiff and sore. "Good morning, kiddo," his mother greeted him. "Mom, you know I don't like when you call me that." "Okay. But how do you feel?" "I feel weird. I had a crazy dream about a car. It really scared me, and now, for some reason, I feel sore." "Honey, sit down." She put a cup of coffee in front of the young man and sat across the table with a cup in her own hand. "You go through this occasionally. You forget your accident and all that happened since. We'll jog your memory again." That's the end of it for today, and you'll have to come back tomorrow to find out just what had happened and why he had this dream. Anyway, that's it for Brandon's dream for today. Thank you. Have a good day. God bless.